Real quick before we begin today's episode, I want to emphasize that I have been moving around. So, my mic might sound different in different takes because I had to go back and post and add in some new things. So, if things sound a little too different for the liking, I apologize about that. The next episode will have completely consistent audio with the current setup that I'm working with now. Hopefully that clears the air. Enjoy! Hello, Internet, and welcome to the SwirlyCast, the only audio show that can be enjoyed by humans and yokai alike, and is the subject of, sorry, we seem to be inside the body of a Koopa. That's a bit unusual. Regardless, I am your host, Koma. Happy you guys spent a few minutes out of your day to come hang out. Always much appreciated every single one of you guys. And with formalities out of the way, what is on our minds today? Well, considering we're inside the body of a Koopa right now, this must mean we're doing another Puyo Crown SwirlyCast. And a very fitting one, too, because we're moving on from one RPG to the next. For Mellow Sunny 12, we're talking about Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. This is a game I've been looking forward to talking about on the show at some point. Because, spoiler alert, we're going to cover all the Mario & Luigi's at some point. But because Mello requested this particular game for his episode, I figured I would go out and do that for him now. So, Bowser's Inside Story was released in 2009 exclusively for the DS and is one of the last Mario games released for the handheld, and the third entry in the Mario & Luigi series. Out of all of them, it is definitely the most well-liked and my personal favorite in the series. And honestly, it's one of my top 3 favorite Mario games. Yeah, ranking alongside games like Odyssey and Galaxy. So that must mean this game's pretty effing special, yeah? Exactly. The Mario & Luigi series holds a special place in my heart, and I cannot wait to get into this game. So let's not dally anymore. Let's talk about this game's story, because yeah, this is a Mario RPG, so I think it goes without saying that we gotta talk about that. The Mushroom Kingdom has fallen ill with the Blorb epidemic, a mysterious disease that turns toads into big giant bowling balls. With the kingdom in shambles, Mario and Luigi have to set out to find a cure, only to be interrupted by Bowser. And of course, Mario beats him up because Mario beats Bowser at the end of the day, you know, that's the whole shtick. When Bowser awakens from his bout with the plumbers, he finds a mysterious salesman who gives him a strange mushroom. After being promised it'll help defeat Mario, Bowser begins to eat it, and all of a sudden it begins to vacuum up everything around him. People, pipes, literally everything. The salesman is soon to reveal to be Fawful, a mainstay bad guy from Superstar Saga who is taking center stage as our main antagonist. When the Koopa King arrives back at Peach's castle, he begins to vacuum up everything again. The Toadstool Princess, all the Toads, and yes, even our helpless plumbers. And so now, with Mario and Luigi inside Bowser, stop it! They must work together with the Koopa King in order to bring an end to Fawful's plight and cure the world of the Blorbs. Yeah, a pretty surface level explanation of the game's opening and a pretty good way to explain how the game itself is going to be operating in terms of its story. This isn't something like Mega Man Star Force, where I think the story takes very much center stage, and it actually has some important messages to tell. Bowser's Inside Story is just fun, and so I feel a lot more good about explaining a lot more about the game's story rather than just like being super vague like I was in the last episode. So now that we know that, let's get into the aim of the game now. It's pretty simple. You can control Mario and Luigi throughout Bowser's body, and you can mess with different things inside of him in order to make things happen in the real world. Meanwhile, up there, as a series first and only in this game, you can control Bowser and explore the real world in a brand new way. The flow of these areas is very straightforward. Usually you'll start exploring an area with Bowser, then come onto a roadblock where you need to take control of the brothers, and solve a problem inside the king, or to progress without him, in terms of stuff later on. The level design in these areas is absolutely top-notch and makes well use of the abilities our trio of characters have. Whether it's Mario and Luigi doing classic moves like the spin jump or the drill, or all of Bowser's moves being brand new and a blast to control, it feels good to explore in this game, and you get brand new powers throughout the entire journey, even near the very end. Of course though, it wouldn't be an RPG without its battle system, and thankfully Mario & Luigi stands the test of time as an action RPG. For Mario & Luigi, they're pretty simple. Each brother has a turn that they can take, where they have a selection of options to jump between. They have jump attacks, hammer attacks, using an item, fleeing from battle, or using an unlocked bros move. All of these have been fine-tuned to perfection ever since Partners in Time. Veterans of the series will definitely have no problem with it. But bros attacks have been changed entirely from Partners in Time, where in that game you had only a stock of them. In this game, you have a dedicated SP meter, where if you have enough SP, you can do the special attacks regardless of how much you've got. But if you don't, well, you don't get any special attacks and you have to jump and hammer. This is a change that the series as a whole would adopt and keep going until the very end of its lifespan, so it's pretty clear that this is like a system that works with everybody. Meanwhile, on the side of Bowser, it's an entirely different playstyle and one unique to this game. He can't jump or hammer like the brothers can, so instead he relies on 3 different methods of attack. He can do a strong wind-up punch, an AoE flame move, or attacking with his rescued minions. Bowser's a lot more tanky and strong, so his enemies are a lot bulkier to match his stats. What makes his battle stand out though is his vacuum move. He can soak up different things that the enemies throw out, whether it be collectible blitties, healing items, or entire enemies. That last one means that you can join the fight as the brothers and to get rid of the mess inside of Bowser. Most Bowser bosses have this format and man is it a lot of fun. You'll have to switch between Bowser and the brothers like at any given opportunity, so it makes sure that you remember how they both work. And I think the balance between the two of them is made absolutely perfectly. Battles in these games will test your endurance and your reflexes, and man are they a joyride to go through. All the bosses too are insanely fun. Another thing introduced in this game though are giant battles, and in this game in particular, they're okay. Not a lot of them do anything for me per se, despite being incredible the when it's on the hardware, because man, the sprite scaling is absolutely top notch. But to be honest, they're just Bowser battles, but you use the stylus and the mic to do your actions now, and you don't even have the advantage of working with Mario and Luigi. The shoot 'em up segments are what I remember the most about though. Sometimes there's a gimmick you need to do by circling around the touchscreen, but otherwise, it can be a bit repetitive. Thankfully, there's not a lot of them, so before it becomes absolutely mind-draining, you're already back to the next exhilarating Bowser battle, so that's good at least on my book. Saying that though, it's a wicked idea they're going to be building upon in Dream Team, where I think they're absolutely peak. But that'll be for another video. Point is, giant battles in this game, they're alright. Not anything I'm willing to go back and replay, but not anything I'm actively groaning at either. So saying that, Dream Team. Whenever I get a Dream Team, I'm gonna be gushing about the giant battles. And now, let's talk about the game's presentation and its music, because aside from the gameplay and how the story is absolutely charming, we gotta talk about this because it's one of the best games on the handheld in that regard. Yoko Shimomura is a legendary composer who I'm sure many of you would be familiar with, most notably for her work on Kingdom Hearts. And she's been with the Mario series ever since the Mario RPG and the original 2 Mario & Luigi games, and would even be back to compose the future Mario & Luigi's and the remake of Mario RPG. And yeah, her tunes in this game are some of my favorites across the entire Mario series, not just the RPGs. Her music is absolutely wonderful and a jam to listen to. Okie Dokie, Tough Guy Alert, Showtime, and In the Final are some of the best battle themes across the entire series, and maybe even RPGs in general, if I'm being honest. Though saying that at the time of recording this episode, I am playing through the Kingdom Hearts game, so we'll wait to see if that statement still rings true. Regardless of that, though, Yoko's music in Bowser's Inside Story is some of the best in the entire Mario series, and without question, the best in the entire Mario & Luigi series. At least, in my opinion. Like, it is absolutely wonderful, and the sound font and all the instruments being used, it makes it feel premium, but still have it be under a sound font, and it's absolutely impressive. The game looks really pretty too. The backgrounds are all bright and colorful, the sprite work are super detailed for the handheld. everything is super expressive. Like, this game is one of the best looking on the DS, and I will not be told otherwise. All the effort gone in to make this game truly special is unlike anything else in a Mario game I've seen since Galaxy. And I wouldn't see until Odyssey, to be honest. And then later again in Wonder. I guess it kind of shows that Mario games were on a bit of a decline until the late 2010s. To say that Bowser's Inside Story is a very special game is an understatement. Like I said, this is one of my favorite Mario games for a reason, and absolutely where the series peaked in my opinion. That isn't to say that the games go downhill from here, because I think Dream Team is still very much worth a play, but we'll have to get to that game whenever we go back and do Superstar Saga and Partners in Time. And saying that, I think I covered just about everything that I wanted to cover about Bowser's Inside Story. It's a great game that I highly recommend you play. And hey, there's also a remake available if you don't care about the game not being at 60 FPS. It looks nicer, so there's that. But if I were to recommend a version, go and play the original game on DS. Believe me, it is some of the most fun you can have on the handheld, to the letter. And with that, yeah, that's it. But of course, you already know it's not over yet. My time, Mello! Let the people know what you think about Bowser's Inside Story.
My name is Melosony12, and I'm going to talk about my thoughts on Bowser's Inside Story. It is my first Mario game I've ever played, period. So A, that holds a special place in my heart because of that. It's also the first Mario and Luigi game I've ever played, back in Christmas of 2009. I love this game, unapologetically. If anyone would ask me, what's your favorite game? This would be the first game I would say. Like, no questions asked. The story, it's a lot of fun. It's also very serious in tone when it needs to be, but it's very comedic too. Also, poor Luigi. They ruined my boy. Well, they didn't ruin him, but more so they tease him a lot, and it's like, why? But he is the best character, and it does show in some aspects. But going back to it as a whole, it is also a really good structural game as well. There are some bit of difficulty spikes, so we'll give it a bit of flack, but for me, it adds the replayability that the game has. And plus, the soundtrack. Yoko Shimomura's best works, in my opinion, on the DS. Like she does compose on Kingdom Hearts and all that, but for DS-wise, this has always been my favorite. That everything she's composed. And it's a game and a series that I love to this very day. And wherever the bros now end up, I wish them the best of luck, what they have in store. And all in all, this game gives me a 10 out of 10. It is an amazing game. And although there are some flaws, I feel like the flaws do add on to it for what it needs to be.
Well, peoples, there you have it. That's what Mello thinks about Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. And I hope that this episode was well worth the wait. It took a lot of time to prepare for very unnecessary reasons. But hey, it's here now, and I got to tell the world all about Bowser's Inside Story and sharing the love of a series that is so deep and passionate, it could pass off as a romance novel. But with that, this has been Koma and my friends, fellow viewers, Koma like. Thank you so much for enjoying this episode of the SwirlyCast. Until next time, bye-bye! It is a shame, though. Mario and Luigi's been dead for years now because Alpha Dream went bankrupt after the remake of Bowser's Inside Story. It really makes me upset that we're never going to be able to see it again. Because so many people need to experience this series. Oh well. Before we embark on our separate ways for today, I wish to give special thanks to the people who help support me financially by buying a sub on Twitch or who were gifted a sub, otherwise known as my lovely Puyo Crowns. From top to bottom, I'm here to thank Clairvoyance, Sierra Dromus, Noble Bull, Sabian Black, Luna7823, For Hawk, Island's Dream, Abir Nova, and of course, Melasony12. And if you too would like a shout out at the end of all these videos or would like a SwirlyCast of your very own made, then head on over to our Twitch page and buy a sub of any tier. But of course, only if you are willing and able. Thanks for watching!